thanks for joining us on Playing the Field. I'm Maria Serrao, and it's time to get you updated on some of the biggest sports stories in Southern California. Now, one of the biggest stories in Los Angeles, of course, is the return of the Los Angeles Rams. And as the organization gets situated here in Southern California, I had a chance to catch up with former Ram Jackie Slater, who talks about his former team coming home. How excited are you to see the Rams coming back to Los Angeles?
Well, I guess I'm about as excited as every other Ram fan in Southern California. It's something that I never thought I'd see. It's something that during my lifetime I never could envision them coming back here. But it has happened. I'm sitting right here in the middle of it. I'm looking around and people are excited again, and they're breaking out the 78 jerseys. They're breaking out it's just, it's just like very, very exciting. So I'm happy for Stan Kroenke, the new owner of the team, because he's bringing a franchise home. And even though, the people in St. Louis aren't so snappy about what's going on, he's bringing them back, in my opinion, to where they belong, to a fan base that was crushed when they left and now are, it was a little slow at first, but now they're jumping back on, and everybody's excited about the Rams this year.
I think it's great when we talk to former players as yourself, because I see that light in your eye. It's exciting to have them come back.
The only problem with that light in my eyes is that I'm thinking, do I have another play left in me? I don't think that way very long. When I get up out of this chair, my back starts bothering me. But, the game was really, really good to me right here in Southern California. As a professional right out of college here for 20 years, it was an unbelievable experience, and it's something that has jettisoned me on into my second life, outside of football. And I've been very fortunate to brought many of the relationships, many of the things that I learned as I was 22 years old when I came to Southern California to play football, and the people here, they adopted me right away. I mean, they said, this is one of the guys, and this is one of the guys that's, I remember before I was playing, I was one of the guys that was going to make us great one day. And then when I started playing, I was one of the guys that, as long as I was in the lineup, we had a chance. So, I can't say enough about the support that I personally have gotten from fans here in Southern California. And I know the team, the guys that are coming here now, they're going to experience the exact same thing. So it's a utopic environment. Can't beat the weather. You can't beat the weather. You can go outside and practice all the time. Anytime. It's a great place to play pro football.
Here at Dodger Stadium, the boys in blue are settling in under new manager Dave Roberts and a few new players as well. Now, one of them comes from a very famous sports family. Trayce Thompson's brother Clay plays for the Golden State Warriors, and his famous father Michael is a broadcaster for the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's more from Trayce about settling in as a Dodger. What was it like for you today being here at Dodger Stadium playing in the first opener here?
Oh, it was amazing. Went by super fast, but it was special. First Dodger opening day for me. Obviously we wish we would have got the win, but special moment. Just got to come back tomorrow and get ready to play a game, get ready to win a game.
Special moment, but a little bit of nerves, but you were managing to get up there and get a hit. Tell us what was going through your mind.
Yeah, you just got to treat the crowd almost like white noise. Just got to try to do your best to kind of, just eliminate them and just focus on the pitcher and the ball. But, my first bat just really got kind of a lucky swing or lucky, where the ball went and everything. But, you just try to keep it simple always. Doesn't matter if it's an opener or if it's a game in Chattanooga or something like that. So you just try to keep it simple, see the ball, hit the ball, and hopefully go out there and get him tomorrow.
Can you talk a little bit about your pitcher today, Maeda? He was amazing.
Yeah, he's been amazing every outing I've seen him pitch, and that's since spring training. So, he's a competitor, throws a lot of strikes, really throws the ball the way he wants to, too, really commands the zone. So, he's been fun to watch, and, hopefully he can keep it up.
Do you notice that there's any difference playing somebody in the division versus, somebody who's out of your division?
I think so. I think the team and the coaches are more familiar with the guys on the other side, especially for us having Turner Ward and Neil Ramp, coming from over there. So, we're going to see those guys a lot, and we just try to win every time we see them. So, but I know we got a lot of battles with them. They're supposed to be on paper they're supposed to be a really good team, and it's going to be a fun year facing them.
Well, we are in some very good company here at Dodger Stadium in the Frank Sinatra section, but now it's time to take you down the road to Anaheim to talk about our Angels, who have been hit with a rash of injuries. The latest being to shortstop Andrelton Simmons, who tore a ligament in his left thumb and will require surgery. He's the sixth Angel to go on the DL in this very early season, just a month underway, but as manager Mike Scioscia told us, they've got to roll with the punches and keep on going. Now, one of the Angels who's doing very well, I had a chance to sit down with, is Kole Calhoun. Here's more from the outfielder. We're here with Kole Calhoun, and we're going to just talk to you a little bit about some history about Kole Calhoun for people that don't know you. You grew up in Buckeye, Arizona. Population 60,000?
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're not. You were a Diamondbacks fan growing up.
I was a D-backs fan, yeah.
Favorite player?
Probably Luis Gonzalez. I was a fan during the World Series run and big hit, but yeah, I was a fan all the way through. I mean, Matt Williams, Jay Bell, Damian Miller. There's a lot of guys there that I loved.
Yeah, a lot of really good guys too. Gonzo's one of our faves because he's a good guy. Okay, and then football, not the Cardinals.
Not the Cardinals. No, I played football when I was a kid. Wore number 7, so naturally I was a John Elway fan. And that year the Broncos won the Super Bowl in '98. Win it again in '99, so just kind of you lock yourself in for fan for life.
So you kind of have to be happy about last year's outcome.
I was pumped, yes, 100%.
Your teammate Mike Trout and I kind of have a little difference in opinion because he's a Philly fan and I'm a Cowboy fan. So.
Okay, yeah, you guys might have a little fight, but I'm a Bronco fan through and through.
You know, it was interesting watching the Super Bowl last year because they weren't expected to win. You know, I mean, Carolina had, they sort of had the edge, but it just goes to show you that you just never know in sports.
Yeah, you never know. They had a great defense. Offense was a little lackluster, but you got Peyton Manning behind quarterback. It's somebody I think every team would want, throughout his career. So, no, big Super Bowl win. So it was nice.
Okay, now you played football. What sort of made you want to maybe go the baseball route over football?
Baseball is my first love. It was my favorite thing to do. I was better at baseball by far, and football was just fun, especially in high school and when you're a kid playing with your friends and stuff. So it was a good time, but it was something I was gonna try to make a career out of. Baseball is definitely the route.
Talk to Dino Ebel a little bit about just the work ethic of you guys and the things that you worked on in spring training, especially just to make it, a little bit better. Baseball is just a game of little tiny things that you do better. Talk a little bit about that because over the years we just see so much more improvement in your game.
Yeah, it's no, you always want to advance. I think anything you want to do. So. Any weaknesses you may have in your game or something like that, spring training is the time to work on them. And, every day you're trying to go out and get better, and you just take it one day at a time and try to improve.
He was talking a little bit about the long toss program that you and Mike Trout worked on. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's a part of our game that kind of goes unnoticed. If there was anything in Trout's game that needed to be worked on, it might have been his throwing arm, but you look at him now it's becoming an asset for him, and it's not just by God-given talent, it's going out and working on it. So we definitely took it upon ourselves to make it something we're going to focus on probably about halfway through the year last year, and we've kept it going all the way to now.
I'm always interested in the off season because it's not really a lot of time. What do you specifically see in your own self that you think, okay, I want to work on this, and do you take time off for yourself too?
Yeah, definitely take time off. It's such a long season. You gotta take a little time off for yourself and recover. But I think in the off season, what most guys are working on is just getting their bodies ready to endure 162 games and plus spring training. I mean, it's a long season. So you're in the gym kind of working on just preparing yourself for that long haul.
Now, the NBA season ended abruptly for the Los Angeles Lakers with a big LA-sized goodbye to Kobe Bryant. But owner Jim Buss decided he needed to make a change with a 17-65 record, and that change was head coach Byron Scott. Now, he wasted no time at all hiring a new coach in former Laker Luke Walton. Walton is currently coaching with the Golden State Warriors and will join the Lakers when the Warriors' postseason comes to an end. Now, for the Los Angeles Clippers, they fell to Portland in 6 games after 2 crushing injuries to Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. Head coach Doc Rivers said he still likes his team and won't break them up. Now, one standout player for the Clippers this year was named Sixth Man of the Year. Jamal Crawford is the only player in NBA history to win this award 3 times. I sat down with Crawford, who talked about the honor. We're here with Jamal Crawford, who is now the Sixth Man of the Year for the 3rd time. Jamal, what goes through your mind knowing that that honor has been bestowed to you, the only NBA player in history?
It's still surreal, honestly. I think winning it the first time was not part of the plan, so I was caught off guard with that one. The second one, I was like, okay. And then the third one is just so far past surreal. So just taking it all in, I enjoyed that, but still trying to focus on the playoffs as well.
You know, before we get into the playoffs, I want to talk about your focus because, let's face it, you're a starter on any team in the NBA, okay? You are so good at what you do specifically. What is your mindset every time you go out to play, knowing that you're going to have to come out and exude all kinds of energy?
Yeah, just try to have a positive impact. I understand it's not just about me, it's about our whole bench unit, being a positive effect on the game and on the team. Sometimes starters get off to a slow start, so while I'm over there, I'm trying to look at what I see and what they're doing and try to adjust it just a little bit so I can get back on track because it's a total team effort.
How do you prepare for that personally? What do you go through when you're not with the team?
I'm over there stretching. I'm over there just getting myself warm because those guys are already out there for 5-6 minutes. They're already running. They're loose. So I'm trying to mentally prepare. So if I'm mentally locked in the game, I think going out there, the adjustment would be a lot easier.
All right, we're going to switch gears for a minute. You have a shoe line out,
Yeah.
and I want to know about it. How much did you get into designing it? Tell me about it.
The first one, I didn't get the opportunity to design because they were already kind of running. But for me, I didn't want to be one of just 200 athletes over at a different shoe company. I wanted to do something different. Allen Iverson was one of my favorite players growing up, and he was with Reebok, and nobody was really wearing Reebok until he went there. So I figured if I went with brand black, people hopefully 10 years from now, 15 years from now would want to wear that shoe and not feel like they always have to go with the companies that have been around forever.
Now, did they ask you about color or style or any of that?
Yeah, everything, style, and some things they came up with on their own. They were already kind of fashion forward. The designer, David Race, he's done shoes for Kobe, he's done shoes for Grant Hill, Jerry Stackhouse, so he's been in the business already, and he had that experience. I thought that was a perfect fit.
What do you like when you put a tennis shoe on?
Comfort. I like it to be light, especially when I'm playing because I dance around the court a lot.
Yeah, you do.
I don't want to feel restricted or held down, so I think it being light and comfortable is probably number one for me.
Okay, and then as far as shoes go, how many pair of shoes do you go through?
Usually only like 4 pair a year, but now having your own shoe, they want you to wear it a lot more. So this year I probably went through 8 pair.
So now it's a fashion statement as well as a shoe.
Yeah. It's a fashion statement. So kids are always paying attention now to see what's on social media and how shoes are looking. So I have to switch it up a little bit.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the playoffs for a little bit here. You know, this year we had talked to Austin Rivers last night, and he said that losing last year kind of refocused all of you as a team. What do you learn the most from that, do you think?
Just not to ever take your foot off the gas. I think for us, we were in the moment, but we were kind of looking around and seeing, okay, we'll play this team next, and we didn't handle business. And for us, we're never going to let that happen again. I never want to say never, but it was such a hard lesson for us. It was such a valuable lesson that we don't want to experience that again.
You know, they always talk about, and Blake talked about that a lot last year, is there's little things that you work on. What kind of little things are they specifically?
Staying locked in for the whole game. I think the little things make such a big difference. And if you can stay locked in, never taking possessions off, always staying in the moment, I think you have much more success.
All right, he is Jay Crossover on Twitter, and if you ever follow Jamal, if you don't, you need to follow him because always positive.
Are you on Twitter?
Of course I am.
I'm following you.
Maria Sports.
I'm following you.
I don't know. You better be.
I better be
now.
following you for sure.
Always positive messages every day.
Thank you. I try to remain positive as possible. Obviously, RIP to Prince, RIP to Pearl Washington, RIP to China. Life is so short. If you can uplift anybody and be positive, I think that's the way to go.
The 2016 Indy Car season is setting up to be a historical one with the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. Now, I sat down with some of the drivers in the series at the Long Beach Grand Prix who talk about the upcoming event at the Brickyard. You are getting ready for what has to be the biggest race ever in Indianapolis this year, being the 100th. And when does it sort of kick in that you're racing in a milestone race, Elio?
I know it's obviously it's the Indy 500, and for us as a driver, it doesn't matter if it's the 100th, the 101 or first or the 102nd, whatever you call, but it's the biggest race for us. It's the Super Bowl, it's the Olympics, it's the you name it. So it is extra special when you're talking about a very special date. It's historic. It's 100 years, so definitely becomes very the attention becoming even more than what we prepare for. But in the end of the day, we gotta treat as a race that we always been going, but make sure that extra careful at this time.
So, in addition to all the work that you'll be doing to prepare for the race, there'll be many other things that you'll have to do as well.
You'll be very busy. I think it's to block it out most of the outside, which is normal for us. As soon as you put the helmet on, we're on it. But that's probably going to be the toughest part, toughest task. But Team Penske, they do a phenomenal job, and I couldn't be. It's an honor to be driving for this team.
To talk about the nuts and bolts of it in this race, I know the aero kits are a little bit different, and they're trying to get the right setup for that. How's that going?
We for Indy, for example, now we adding a dome skid, which is raise the car a little bit more. But if the car, the reason that we're doing that, so that we have a little more gap between the floor and the bottom of the chassis. So if the car goes sideways for some reason, the air in the bottom doesn't flip the car like it used to. Now that's gonna work as a wall, and when it hits that, it keeps the car to the ground. I don't know if you remember last year, we have a little bit of a moment going,
A little airborne.
a little bit of a flying lessons, which I didn't like it. But so for those to prevent, that's why we add this year, and it seemed to be the right direction.
As a 3-time winner of the 500, what's it going to take for you to get that 4th one? It would be amazing this year, Elio.
Cross the finish line first. Sounds very simple.
I think that's easy, right?
That's yeah, just go, and that's. But obviously, dedication like the team does every day. Myself, we just got to put everything together. Remember, we have a lot that can happen in that race. About 7-8 pit stops. Doing everything by a watch, I guarantee it's going to be successful.
Well, and you have 2 races there as well. Talk about that.
Correct. Used to be just the Indy 500 a month just for the ovals, but now we have the Indy Grand Prix, which is actually bring a little bit of a memory, like staying for the whole month, but it is a different preparation because we focus on the race car for the street course or road course, and then you got to convert the car and go to the oval. So you got to quick adapt for that mindset for everyone, but we did this before, and shouldn't be any difference than the other days.
Well, you're focusing on the race here this weekend, and this is actually going to be my first Indianapolis 500 this year.
Wow, you're going to have a blast.
I'm excited.
You're going to have a great time. Our car is going to be yellow. Yellow is going to be with the Shell Pennzoil for the Indianapolis 500, so don't forget those colors.
All right, so the yellow for Indianapolis, and good luck this weekend, and I will see you in Indianapolis, Elio.
I'll see you there.
All right, so we have to talk about next month for a minute because it's not just the Indy 500, it's the 100th running. I mean, when does it kind of sink in? And I know that it's another race for you, but it's a historical moment.
Yeah, it's not just another, though. You know, for sure the 100th running in 30 years since my dad won. So it's a special month, you know, an incredible race. I mean, for anybody who's been a fan of IndyCar racing or not that has thought about going to the Indy 500, it's a must-do bucket list item. I mean, I've been to a lot of things. I went to the Super Bowl this year. Which I've been a couple times, National Football Championships. I mean, I've seen a lot of cool stuff in my time. And I guarantee you nothing compares to the Indy 500. I would put it up against anything.
Well, you're telling somebody who's going to be there for the very first time.
You're going to love it. I'm serious. It is unbelievable experience. You'll absolutely love it.
I can't even imagine what it will be like there.
Yeah, I mean, you think, you know, when you go to a Super Bowl like this year, I think there's 80,000, 90,000. You go to a college football national championship, maybe 100 or less, depending on the stadium. You go to the Indy 500, and you're talking 350 to 400,000 people. I mean, nothing compares to the atmosphere of that event. And you know, this year is a big one because it can really help elevate our sport. I feel like our sport deserves to be put back on the map. Absolutely. You know, to where it should be. I mean, you know, I think it's one of the most competitive sports. I think it's one of the most difficult sports to be successful at, and deserves a lot of credit. And the 100th running will draw a lot of eyes, and so looking forward to it.
Yes, and I found out yesterday that it was 30 years since your dad won it, so that's kind
cool.
of a good thing, right?
It's cool. We've got Budweiser on board. They're going to sponsor the car for Indy, or, you know, be an associate. And Dad won it in '86 with Budweiser, so it will be very cool to kind of. They already have all the ads all over Central Indiana of you know, us. father and son, and Budweiser's back at Indy with the Rahals, and so it'll be cool.
You're about to embark on a historic race in Indianapolis, the 100th. When does that sink in, or has it already, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I hope it doesn't sink in till after, because, I mean, that race is a big enough deal without, adding that kind of title to it. But, everybody's very excited, obviously. The buzz around town is incredible already in Indy, and the buzz around the series, obviously, is loud, and everybody seems pretty jacked about this race. And, we want to go out there, obviously, and do the best job we can, put on the best show that we can for the fans. And, preparations probably for us started in February for a race at the end of May. But that's just what Indy is. That's what it means. And whether it's the 92nd or the 105th, you're going to try just as hard.
And I guess when you get in the car, actually everything settles down for you.
For sure. I mean, that's our release. That's our getaway.
Get away, okay, we're done.
Exactly. And the month of May is so stressful. There's so many events, so many appearances, so much going on, so many demands on our time that for us, getting in the car is really our release. And so those 500 miles, it's a lot of stress and a lot of buildup, but it's some of the most relaxing and fun times you can have.
All right, so I read that you actually were an ordained minister and that you not married Charlie Kimball, but you married Charlie Kimball.
Yes, I did. Charlie and his now beautiful wife, Kathleen, have been friends of mine for a long time. And they foolishly asked me if I would preside over their wedding. So I couldn't turn down a friend's request on their wedding day. So I became an ordained minister and performed the ceremony. And I married Charlie and Kathleen.
And how nervous were you?
It was single-handedly the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I would have said that without you. Probably that's not a line. And I told them that on the day, and I've told them that every day since. It was absolutely mortifying.
This is going to be like a moonlighting thing you're going to do like on the side now, or?
No. It was so stressful. I think it took 5 years off my life just doing that. So I don't think I need to be, dabbling in that anytime soon.
How much did you rehearse the lines and looking over at me?
Like a ton. Like an incredible amount of time was spent on this because we screwed up at somebody's wedding day. It's not like an actor, if he screws up a line, he can just do it again, cut and start, first positions and start again. This is somebody's wedding, and it's all on film, and their friends and family are there, and it was awful. I mean, it was great, and it was a beautiful day. Weather-wise, the ceremony, the bride and groom, everything was just awesome. It was great. But I was genuinely terrified that when I saw them after the ceremony was done, Kathleen was just going to walk up and slap me and say, never speak to me.
Thanks so much for doing that.
Thanks for ruining my wedding. But they still talked to me, so I guess I did okay.
All right, so then asking you what was more stressful, like driving in a race or presiding over somebody's wedding? I guess I know the answer.
I mean, anything or presiding over a wedding. For more stressful, the answer is presiding over a wedding, 100%.
You're going to be racing in Indy, though, and this year it's, the 100th running of this 500. What is going through your mind knowing it's your first Indy 500 and it's this amazing anniversary?
Yeah, it's amazing how the timing has all worked out for my career and moving up the ranks, and now my first Indy Car, first 500 will be the 100th running. So, it's definitely a historic moment, obviously for the whole series and for the event, but I've grown up watching it and loving the race. Being an American, it's just as good as it gets. So for me, just to be in it is amazing, but it just adds a little bit something special to be in the 100th running.
Next month you'll be racing in the Indy 500, and we're talking to all the drivers about the fact that it's the 100th one. What does that mean to you when it sinks in that you're driving in such a historical race?
Well, it's a great pleasure and a great honor for me, to be a participant of this race. What can I say? I mean, I did this 2 years ago, did this race, and it was amazing to see so many spectators on the tribunes. And the actual track is great. It's the fastest track in the world, I think. So of course, it's a great feeling to be a part of this. I'm really happy.
And that will do it for today's show. Remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. I'm Maria Serrao from Dodger Stadium, and we're going to leave you with some sights and sounds from Kobe's last game at the Staples Center. We'll see you next time.
Well, it kind of started back in 1996 when I first seen him at Long Beach Pyramid when he first came in as an incoming rookie. So I just kind of grew to being a big, huge Kobe fan ever since, all these years, all the way up to now.
No, I've been watching him since what? Actually, I found out about him when he was in Lower Merion, and I was like, all right, he's gonna be a Laker. So all right, and then ever since then, 20 years.
Ever seen him play?
I have. I was there for these 2 games. I was there when he scored 62 against the Mavs, and I was at the 81-point game.
Nice.
So, and I'm actually blessed enough to be there at the game tonight. So, it's we're expecting something special tonight. I'm here to celebrate Kobe's legacy. It's 20 years. Love the guy.